So we are reading Mehera-Meher Volume 2, Part 1, Fire. And there's a picture of Baba, and it reads below, Incognito in Harwan, Kashmir, with Norina and Kakabaria on 20th April 1933. Elizabeth ECPPA. 45. The Links. It starts with letter N though.
Yeah, that N is just that's how the computer reads that little piece of art that they have at the beginning of the section,
Thanks.
that little leaf or something, Yeah. You're welcome.
Thank you, Eugene. At Mehrabad, after discussing other possible locations for a new ashram, such as Jabalpur and Mandla, Meher Baba decided to move everyone to Mysore in South India. Elizabeth had purchased a light grey buick for Baba, and he left in it with her. Mehera, Mani, Naja, and Khorshid at 6:30 a.m. on 2nd August 1939. Following in the blue bus, driven by Adi Senior, with Kakabaria assisting, were 8 Eastern women: Sunamasi, Walu, Mansari, Katie, Kaku, Sultan, Daula, and Sarwar, and 6 Western women: Norina, Nadine, Kitty, Nani, Rano, and Irene, besides baby Django. Irene remembered this journey well. Nadine took a bit more luggage, her overcoats, on the bus than allowed. Baba made her sit on a folding chair in the aisle with a coat underneath her and another coat on her lap. I sat next to her on a bench. I fell ill on the way to our first stop, Sholapur. I got tonsillitis. I was leaning my weight on Nadine, who was already overloaded, and she had to hold me. But this was not the worst of it, as Irene continued. Later, Gulmai would open one of the windows at the front and tell her grandson Jangu to pee out. Those of us at the back got sprayed if we were sitting by a window. Jangu also sometimes felt carsick and vomited out the window. Their first stop was a rather small dock bungalow in Sholapur. Baba allotted chairs and tables to sleep on, but gave Irene a bed over some of the older women because of her infected throat. After a day, because of swarms of mosquitoes there, they moved to another dog bungalow in Hippargaon near a crook tank where local Baba lovers provided their meals. The group reached Bangalore on 12th August, which Dawn later described. Bangalore lies upon a granite plateau about 3,000 feet above sea level. It is the administrative capital of the large and progressive state of Mysore, and is a kind of garden city with parks and vistas. Long avenues shaded by decorative trees, spacious houses, a cantonment scattered with barracks and sounding with bungles and the rumble of military lorries, and a commercial city with busy lanes, bordered by small white houses hugging each other in the sunlight. On the way, they had passed the lost temple at Pandharpur, which Baba pointed out, but they did not stop. It was night time when we arrived in Bangalore, said Mehera, and Elizabeth did not know where to take us. She took the car round the bazaar, After that, we never went out. We never went sightseeing. That was our only outing in Bangalore. The Eastern women stayed in a Parsi hotel and the Westerners in a different one. Baba told us we could have a bath as soon as we arrived. Mehera continued. It was a homey place. There was only one bathing room. Baba said he would time each one, only 15 minutes each. I usually take an hour to bathe. Everyone had to have a bath, and then we had to go eat. Baba took a watch and began timing each one. Everyone bathed fast, fast. William Donkin, The Wayfarers, San Francisco Sufism Reoriented, 1948, page 121. Baba did not want his name revealed to the public on their journey. And when they got down anywhere, they were instructed not to use the word Baba. He also disguised himself by sometimes wearing sunglasses and pulling back his hair to hide it. Money related. During travels, Baba would not let himself be known. When he was among people, among the crowds, going all over India, he traveled incognito. In the blue bus, wherever we landed, we were not to address him as Baba, in case that might give someone the idea that it was Meher Baba. We, the Eastern women, said nothing, but Norina called him Babuli, and Nadine said Babushka. So while Baba was doing his work, he was keeping his name too in seclusion. It was like all the water that collects behind a dam. When the time came and he released his name, the dam broke, and the force with which the water flowed out was tremendous. In regard to concealing his name, an amusing incident occurred at the Parsi Hotel. Baba said the hotel people must not know who he was. Mehera recounted. So we had to call him by other names. After our baths, we went into the dining room and sat around a nice big table. Sarwar, Baidu's youngest daughter, was 9 years old then. She was with us, sitting right next to Baba. She had had typhoid in Persia, so she had very short hair and looked like a boy. In the meantime, the proprietress came and told us to enjoy the meal. She came up from behind and said, Baba, eat well. We were all shocked and struck silent. Baba looked up, but she was referring to Sarwar. As a boy, he is also affectionately called Baba. We all heaved a sigh of relief. Baba too had been startled. The group stayed in the hotel while final arrangements were made about the location of the ashram and their lodgings. Mirza Ismail, the Diwan, Prime Minister of Mysore, and a Baba lover, wanted Baba to establish his ashram in Bangalore and donated a parcel of land for this purpose. His brother owned a bungalow nearby called the Links because it overlooked a golf course. And they moved there on 14th August. Dawn described it as a large square white house that stood in a large square garden. In the bigger houses in India, the servants' quarters are usually separate from the main house. They are often built against the boundary wall of the back garden. This was the case at the Links, and because it was a big house, it had various huts and sheds close to the back wall. Baba chose the corner of the garden where there were a few such sheds, and a space, perhaps 30 yards square, was walled off with screens of tatya to make an enclosure that included these huts. A tiny cottage was also built there for Baba's use, a compact little house with stone floor and thatchwork walls and roof, through which the wind puffed and sighed. Such huts were new, as Baba's was, are cool and have a fragrant odor. This hut was built initially so that Baba might sit fasting in seclusion for a certain period, and it later became invaluable as pivot of the mast ashram. Another house down the road, also owned by the Diwan's brother, was rented for the monthly, and more of the men were called, including Don, who had recently arrived from England. On the women's side, Gai Mai Jesawala and her daughters returned, along with Gai Mai's sister Banu Masi Kirawala and her sons Dadi and Sam, and Chagan's wife Shanta and their daughter Shakuntala. This made 23 women staying at the links with Baba. Norina immediately became immersed in planning for the new ashram, to be known as the Universal Spiritual Center and located just outside Bangalore in Bairamangala. The architect come engineer was to be Chanji's brother Nauroji Dada Chanji, who arrived with his daughter Nargis on 24th August. Meanwhile, the women settled into their new accommodations. The link the links was large and spacious, Mehra recalled, but not on the porch side. Upstairs there were two nice sized bedrooms, and in the middle a grand ballroom with a wooden floor, which we later used for skits for Baba. The hall became a dorm like bedroom for many of the Easterners. Baba had a room downstairs. The Westerners too stayed downstairs. Would anybody like to continue?
Sure, I can continue. Mani and I used the bedroom upstairs at the back. Our room had a window from the floor to the ceiling with an alcove, but it was still dark. A dressing room was attached. I had the furniture removed and converted it into a small kitchen where I cooked for Baba on a Criterion and a Primus stove. I had a maid who brought burning coals upstairs for the Sigri charcoal stove. I put Baba's rice to steam on it so it wouldn't burn. Meru Jasawala washed Baba's clothes and made his bed with Walu, while Katie and Meru's sister, Manu, worked in the kitchen. Since the group was large, there was much to be done, and others helped. Although they had some servants, they had to clean their own rooms. The diet was completely vegetarian, and like the food throughout the Blue Bus tours, it was cooked in ghee, made from fresh butter, lightly seasoned with no hot chilies to accommodate both Eastern and Western palates. In the evening, they played badminton and cards, and a few of the Westerners were permitted to take walks on the main road. Later, the weather turned colder, though Katie still found it uncomfortably hot as she bent over wood stoves. Sorry. As she bent over wood stoves, cooking inside the kitchen. Their faces became flushed as they perspired. Baba's order was that if one stepped outside into the breeze, one had to put on a coat so as not to catch a chill going from the warm room into the cold. Once Katie stepped out when Baba called her, without remembering her, Mehera did not remember ever boiling water for Baba or for themselves while they were traveling throughout India. Coat. Baba was very upset and asked where her coat was. He made her go back and put it on. For the rest of the day, she felt contrite about making this mistake. Finally, Baba came and said, "Don't worry, forget about it." Baba never liked us to be moody or depressed, Katie commented. "Why are you sitting in front of me with such long garlic faces?" he would demand. "Smile." We had to obey and be cheerful. Baba himself was so tired from his must and universal work, he didn't like to look at long faces in front of him. We had to show him a cheerful face and not give him any cause to get excited or worry about anything. We were conscious that we should not be a burden to him. Baba liked to tease the two kitchen workers, Katie and Manu, by calling them Nutty and Gutty, like the two pigs. Once, when Baba asked Katie what she was thinking, she replied, "About the rice on the stove. I was thinking that it will be burnt." Baba told her to turn it off and come back. If one were in the bath covered with soap, Katie continued, and Baba called, one had to come immediately. It meant don't even wash off the soap, just dress quickly and come like that. Then Baba would say, "You have soap all over you. Go quickly finish your bath and come." Baba wanted promptness. He should not be kept waiting. He always stressed obedience. "I would prefer obedience over love," he would say. "And when can you obey 100%? Only when you love 100%. One thing I learned from being with Meher Baba," Katie concluded, "was to surrender completely to him and never do things halfway. Leave everything to Baba. Give your life completely in his hands. Complete obedience and complete love. You cannot do it halfway." Shireen Mai and Arnavaz arrived on 31 August. Shireen Mai was given the second bedroom upstairs, which had a terrace overlooking the golf links. Here she sat for hours and through a pair of binoculars watched the English men and women playing golf. She was full of life.
Yeah, I'm trying to mute.
No problem.
Yeah.
She was full of life, said Mehera. Shireen Mai could also be quite humorous. For instance, she had a good friend in Pune who was a Muslim. Standing in front of Shireen Mai's house once, the friend said, "Shireen, I love you so much. You're my best friend. Why don't you become a Muslim?" "Why should I become a Muslim?" Shireen Mai inquired. "Because only Muslims go to heaven." "Then I don't want to go to heaven." "But why not?" "There would be too few people there to talk to, and I love to talk." All in the ashram were expected to eat the same plain food. Shireen Mai, however, liked to have something other than rice and dal. And occasionally she asked Katie and Manu, who were in charge of the kitchen, to make her something different. After one such request, Galmai told her, "This is not Baba's order." Shireen Mai retorted hotly, "Don't talk to me of his order. Who is he to give his mother orders? Obey my order." Before Shireen Mai arrived, Baba had instructed everyone to accommodate Shireen Mai's requests within reason. She is the avatar's mother, he pointed out. So if she gets upset, even I will not be able to calm her down. One day, Shireen Mai said that she wanted fried eggplant. Baba was always saying that eggplant was not good for one. But since Shireen Mai had asked for it, and they wanted to please her, they prepared a small amount for her lunch with a little chutney on the side. Manu covered the plate with a napkin and put it in a tray. She was carrying it upstairs when she met Baba coming down the stairs. He had just come out of Mehera's room where he was talking to her and the other women. "What are you carrying?" he asked innocently. "It's lunch for Shireen Mai," Manu replied. Baba asked what it was and then said, "Let me taste it." Only 2 or 3 small eggplants were on the plate, and Manu became nervous as Shireen Mai had a sharp tongue. She told Baba, "But these are for Shireen Mai." "It doesn't matter. Make more tomorrow. I like them. Who made them?" One by one, he ate them all. Manu now had to face Shireen Mai. "Where are the eggplants?" she demanded. Manu informed her that Baba had eaten them. "He didn't leave even one for me?" Later, Shireen Mai confronted Baba. "Why is it, Marag, that every time something is cooked for me, you always have to eat my share? Not even one eggplant for me? You never let me enjoy what I like." "Tomorrow we'll make plenty for you," Baba promised. But sometimes Shireen Mai had stomach problems, perhaps because she ate what she should not. When she had indigestion, someone brought a mustard platter and put it on her tummy while she was lying in bed. Mehera came to visit her and asked, "How are you feeling? Any better?" "Better," Shireen Mai snorted in disgust. "No, I am not. And these people gave me this awful, useless plaster." Saying which, she flung it on the ground. Mehera did not know about the mustard plaster and recoiled. "I was so startled." "What is it?" she took out and threw down. "It looked so funny." Shireen Mai told her, "This mustard plaster has done me no good. They just slapped it on and went away. Go and tell them." Mehera reported to the others, "You'd better come along and give her some other treatment or medicine." Another time while eating lunch, Shireen Mai got heartburn. She picked a mustard platter is an old-fashioned remedy of a mustard powder paste spread on a thin cloth used primarily for chest decongestant as it has a heating effect. Hitler and Stalin had been bitter enemies, but they signed a Nazi non-aggression pact on 23 August 1939, making possible Hitler's attack on Poland by guaranteeing that Germany would not have to fight Russia to do so. Italy likewise had signed a pact with Germany, but they too were uneasy allies. Mussolini did not even know of Hitler's decision to go to war until 11 August, when his son-in-law met with Hitler's foreign minister at his estate outside Salzburg. And at the White House Inn, William I. Schreier, The Rise and Fall of the Third Reich, New York, Simon and Schuster, 1960, page 483 to 509. Up a glass of water, but feeling suffocated, she left the table with the glass still in her hand and went out on the landing, groaning. And next reader.
Three persons rushed to her aid. Panting, she said, "I don't know what is happening to me." The women led Shireen Mai into someone's room and made her sit on the bed. Soon she was all right. Mehera paid much respect to Shireen Mai and was always considerate towards her. For example, not only did Mehera think to take the glass of water from her hand, she also thought to bring her one when she was thirsty. Shireen Mai commented, "See, Mehera has some love for me. No one else thought to get me a glass of water. Mehera has some manners," said Mehera. Shireen Mai was caustic at times, and I had a bitter wit and a sharp. Shireen Mai was caustic at times and had a bitter wit and a sharp tongue, but she was always very nice with me. She always loved me. She would tell me about Baba's childhood and younger days. Sometimes she used to be upset. She could be strict and bossy, but most of the time she was very loving. She had a very keen eye and was quick to judge someone and to tell Baba what she thought. Mani was amazed at Shireen Mai's infallible ability to discern a personality straight through. She read people accurately, even when the others insisted that she had misjudged someone. With Baidul's daughter Daula, this happened, Mani said. We all thought Daula was so humble and not very bright. My mother thought otherwise. No, Mother Shireen, you must be mistaken, Narina told her. But Memo turned out to be correct. When we got to know Daula better, we realized she was shrewd and could be calculating. With Germany's invasion of Poland on 1 September 1939, World War II began in Europe. From the beginning of the Blue Bus tours 9 months previously, Baba had made daily comments about the war. Mehera said that she did not pay much attention, but the Westerners, being more directly affected, were more interested. That day happened to be Nadine's birthday, and Mehera does remember Baba saying that Russia, quote, holds the key, unquote, which pleased Nadine. Nadine always talked about Russia and being Russian. She felt very happy when Baba said this, Mehera said. Mehera became very fond of Nadine, who was the same age as her mother. She enjoyed listening to Nadine tell stories about her homeland. On the other hand, Baba teased Irene, who was Swiss German, saying that she represented Germany. And Irene became piqued because she hated Hitler. A radio was rented for the links, and it was listened to hourly as the news came in. Chamberlain gave his speech on 3 September, declaring war on Germany. 4 months to the day since Mani had put on her political satire. Baba indicated that he was happy that the time of indecision was over. My blessings to England. Had it failed this time, it would have been the end. Let us hope that America will help now, with money and supplies, if not men. About the two main troublemakers, he commented, "A poor wretch, Mussolini. But he deserves to be crushed. Hitler is mad, but Mussolini is mean." Baba stated later that it would be a long war with unprecedented destruction, but that this was a necessary prelude to a great spiritual upheaval. You cannot imagine what this war is going to bring to all. Everything will change. In the end, there will be no victor, no vanquished. All will be crushed and exhausted, but it will usher in a new order in the world. Baba was continuing his work with the musts by having them brought to the links from the surrounding area. And the Mandali observed that throughout the war, the reactions of the musts were often connected to the war's developments. Baba had even stated previously, "These musts are true soldiers of God." With the arrival of the MAD and musts from Meherabad on 19 September, Rano had to vacate the new thatched cottage, where she had begun a large portrait of Baba wearing a scarf. While the radio was kept tuned to world events throughout the day, Baba worked intensively with the musts for the next 30 days, indicating that the war would take definite shape within this period. And he revealed that the whole world would be involved in it. By 6 October, the rest of the Mandali living at Meherabad had moved to Bangalore, bringing with them the zoo animals, since it seemed Baba intended to stay there for the foreseeable future. Fortunately, the compound was large and the zoo was reestablished here. Cooking for so many and taking care of the animals kept the women busy and their minds focused on the beloved. Although Baba was devoting most of his attention to the musts, he still came to visit the animals to do his work with them. Lucky and two other semi-wild monkeys of the same breed were kept in a cage at the back of the compound. But before Baba came, Lucky was put on a leash and tied to a tree. And though Baba gave the duty of cleaning the monkey cage to the Jasawallas, Narina still had to care for Lucky. Once, when she was out, Lucky was taken to Mehera and Mani's room and tied by the window. They gave him something to eat to keep him out of trouble. He was very naughty when he was free, Mehera said. Sometimes Baba played with him on Mehera's bed. Lucky sat on Baba's shoulder, picking Baba's hair, perhaps thinking he was grooming Baba, looking for lice. He sat on Baba's hand also. Baba gave him bananas. He looked sweet, sitting on Baba's hand and chewing. We used to watch and laugh with Baba. The sidebar says, Irene cut Lucky's nails and put diapers on him when he was small, so he would not dirty Baba. Meher, would you care to read?
No, Eugene, can you continue?
Oh, sure. Mani had a bicycle and sometimes took Lucky for a ride around the compound. Oh, that must have been cute, adorable. When Meheru Irani came to Bangalore, she was intrigued by the animal. Narina told her he would not bite, not to be afraid. But Lucky did give her a nip, so Meheru whacked him, and he never did it again. Mehera commented, Irene loved animals, so Baba gave her that work. And as at Meherabad, Irene spent most of her time tending them. Irene recounted, at the links, Mary, the lamb, would go to the back porch and steal vegetable peelings. She got sick, as lambs were to have mostly dry, lean food. Elizabeth and I had to take it to the vet. Two large red monkeys, Bundy and Dundee, were kept in wire netting. One day they made a hole in the wire. I let them escape as they wanted to go. They were breeding and didn't like to be cooped up. Baba was also glad they escaped. The pigs were also clever. When I called them, Nutty, Gutty, they came. When they walked on the pavement, it sounded like the clicking of French ladies in high-heeled shoes. We made a pigsty out of a horse box. Once the pigs got out and dug up the flower bed. Nutty and Gutty grew up, and the female had 4 piglets, which looked so sweet. One got eaten by a bird. The other 3 were exact miniatures of their parents. When the pigs were born, Elizabeth was concerned the rats would eat them if we left them downstairs, so we had to take them upstairs in our bedroom and feed them with a bottle. Later, I gave them bread and milk on a plate, which they ate. One day, the owner of the bungalow, who was a Muslim, saw pigs on his grounds. He made us get rid of them. Baba gave the pigs away to some Bangalore Baba lovers who wouldn't kill them. Elizabeth was crazy about the pigs. She loved animals. She saw a pet peacock in the bazaar and bought it. It was full grown, quite tame, quiet and lovely. We called it Moti, which means pearl. We got a white cock in Bangalore also, which I cared for. I asked Baba if I could sleep on the balcony, as the others wouldn't want the cock in the room. Baba said if I slept on the back balcony, I would get ill, which I did, but he let me. Eve, care to read some more?
It's 3 o'clock though.
We started at 20 minutes late, so we're going to go another 20 minutes, if you don't mind.
No, I don't.
Awesome.
Okay. I start with Baba also gave Irene.
Perfect.
Okay. Baba also gave Irene a puppy to care for, a half fox and half wire-haired terrier. Mani recalled how the puppy got its name. They were sitting around Baba when Mani went out for a minute. When she returned, Irene informed her excitedly in her thick Swiss accent, Mani, Baba has given a name for my dog. Crazy. Crazy, Mani asked. No, crazy, like the actress Crazy, Gracie Fields. Irene wanted Mehera to learn German, but Mehera could not see much purpose in it. Every night when she said goodnight to them, Irene gave Mehera and Mani a phrase or two in German, such as sweet dreams, which she made them repeat. Mehera found it tedious. I'm not a linguist, she told Irene. French was very hard for me at school. And with her heavy accent, just to follow what Irene was saying in English was hard enough. Mani remembered an amusing anecdote in this regard. Irene would say she was in the bathroom sinking. I thought, we have no bathtub. How could she sink? Then I figured it out. Irene meant thinking. During the Blue Bus tours, Mani carried a small cardboard alphabet board in case Baba wanted to say something on the bus. For some time, she also took notes and maintained a diary of the tours. If Mani was reading the board, someone else transcribed what was being said, usually Katie or Kitty, and Mani copied it later into her diary. But by the time they arrived in Bangalore, Mani had become so proficient that she was able to both read the board and take down what was being said simultaneously. Reading the board was very natural for me. Even upside down, she said. I did my own shorthand. Nadine was also taking notes. I helped fill them in. Many times, however, Baba became irritated and told them to stop and listen to him or to sit quietly. Why do you need words? He asked. Just be with me. Sit before me. Absorb. You're with me. Make the most of my companionship. Later, Baba entirely stopped the practice of taking notes, saying he did not want them to be distracted from being with him. For posterity, these notes, it seems, would have been worthwhile. But the work Meher Baba was doing with the women at the time took precedence. Being with him was the most important thing, Mani concluded. Everything else was secondary. Though the Westerners were permitted to write to their families, Rano felt troubled that her brother, Clifford, had not been drawn to Baba in the same way she and her mother had. Baba told her, "Why are you worrying?" "Because of your and Nani's connection with me, he benefits automatically." Rano said, "Yes, but that's secondhand. I want him to know and love you firsthand." Still, Baba's words were some consolation. Cliff Gailey had Baba's touch, even though he lived thousands of miles away in New York and was not conscious of it. Baba indicated that members of a Baba lover's family who do not show any apparent feelings for Baba will come closer in some future life. Nani had been ill with a heart condition for some time, and on 13 October, she had a heart attack. A few days before this, Baba had asked Rano what she would think if her mother died. Rano said, "Whatever you decide, Baba," but she started to cry. When Baba asked why she was crying, she said it was because of her brother, who loved Nani very much. Baba assured her, saying that he would take care of Cliff. Shortly thereafter, when more beds for the new arrivals had to be brought from Mehera-Meher, I don't think I finished reading the last page. Oh, for Meherabad, Narina informed Baba that they would still be one short. Baba said they would not be needing it now. And from this, Rano understood that Nani would soon pass away. Baba was always away when any close one died, Rano noted. And when, many years later, Baba reaffirmed this to Kari ben Shammai of Israel, whose husband was not a Baba lover, Adi Sr. wrote to her on 9 August 1966, "Baba does not wish you to worry at all about the non-believing attitude of your dear husband. Baba says that your husband will come to know the truth about his avatarhood when his time comes. He wants you to continue your good work of spreading his message of love and truth, and at the same time, to try your best to deal tactfully with your husband by being good to him." In August 1999, Masaji was sent to the Himalayas by Baba to search for Rustam. Oh, I'm sorry. In August 1939, Masaji was sent to the Himalayas by Baba to search for Rustam in the Rishikesh and Badrinath areas. Despite his best efforts, Masaji was unable to locate any trace of him. Nani was breathing her last on 14 October. Baba was in Mangala inspecting the construction work for the Universal Spiritual Center. Dr. Duncan was attending Nani, and before she died, he heard her exclaim twice, "What beauty!" Nilu informed Rano that Nani had passed away. It was about 6:30 p.m. 10 minutes later, Baba arrived and entered Nani's room, where he gently closed her eyes. When Baba did that, I heard a sigh from Nani, Rano said. Baba told me that he had given her mukti, liberation. After Nani was cremated in Bangalore, Baba sent her ashes to Meherabad, where they were placed near his future tomb in a monument that read simply, Nani, Baba's lover. Nani had many times donated spontaneously and generously for Baba's work, and Baba ordered that food be distributed to the poor every year on the anniversary of her death in commemoration of her deep devotion to him. Adi Sr. remembered Nani was very, very neat. She was a very nice woman. In Bangalore, she took a lot of vitamin C before she died, lemon juice, and so on. Baba didn't like it much, but she persisted. Also, before she died, despite her serious condition, Nani wrote short, humorous notes to Mani, little poems for fun. About her mother, Rano commented, Nani wanted to be pals with me, but also wanted me to respect her. She was the antithesis of me, feminine and delicate. Her relationship with Baba was always separate from the rest of ours. Baba never tested or teased her, perhaps because of her past births or her short connection with Baba in this life. Baba always handled her as something fragile that might break. But Baba's wish was her pleasure. Next reader.
When the remaining Mandali had arrived from Meherabad, Franey had also come at the end of October 1939. She finally had the opportunity to be with Baba, as she had so long desired. But Franey did not stay with the other women at the links. Instead, she was accommodated in a separate bungalow and was brought only once to the links to see Mehera and the others. The other women never visited her, since she was still in a state of mental turmoil. In fact, she proved so uncooperative, she was taken back to Nasik 3 days after she arrived. On top of everything else, Rustam had disappeared, apparently abandoning his wife and children. Often he went off like that, but this time, in fact, Rustam was never heard from again. His father, Khan Saheb, tried to locate him. Some thought he was in America, as Rustam had spoken of going there, but others speculated that he had committed suicide. His body, however, was never found. Along with Adi Sr., Baba took over responsibility for Rustam and Franey's children, as he had been attentive to their welfare all along. The local rumor was that Rustam had embezzled money from his different businesses, such as Sarosh Motor Works, and then absconded with the money. The mystery of Rustam's disappearance was cleared up some 21 years later, when Nagu, Jungu, and Baram came to Guru Prasad in 1960, wanting to know more. Next page, please. Wanting to know more about their father. The uncertainty over their father's disappearance still gnawed at his children. Melu, Rustam's eldest son, had told Jangu to ask Baba where Rustam was. But when he did, Baba was annoyed by the question. I raised you like a father, and you ask me this? Melu and Falu always believed that Baba had sent Rustam away somewhere. Franny had told them that Baba said he had letters from Rustam, but never showed them to her. Baba asked Jangu, are you asking me as man or as God? Jangu replied, both. Baba said, if you ask me as a man, I'll have to tell you that I don't know what happened to Rustam. If you ask me as God, I'll say he committed suicide. They asked why he had committed suicide, and Baba explained that Rustam had become increasingly depressed, so unlike his usual jovial nature since Franey's steady decline. And there were other reasons. Rustam had come to him in serious financial trouble with large outstanding debts. So Baba had told Rustam to go away for 6 months. He had been away for a few months previously on pilgrimage, so there would be nothing unusual in this. Baba had said that they would straighten out the finances, pay off the debts, and settle everything. Adi Sr. was present, and he too thought it a good idea for Rustam to keep a low profile for 6 months. But Rustam vanished and never returned. Baba remarked that instead of just going away, Rustam probably took the easy way out and took his own life rather than courageously deal with the situation. When Melu and Falu were told what Baba had said, they were skeptical. They, along with their brothers and sisters, had endured a great deal of suffering because of the breakup of the family, and they were apportioned part of the blame. And they apportioned part of the blame to Meher Baba. As adults, they felt distanced from Baba, and although they respected him, they did not profess to be his followers. Jangu, on the other hand, had grown up in the ashram and respected Baba deeply, but he too did not feel 100% conviction that Meher Baba was God. He felt no sense of obedience. Though he had a desire to have faith, it simply was not there, as he himself admitted. But he did say, Baba was like a father to me, much more than Adi. I considered Baba to be my father. Despite his unfortunate demise, Mehra's brother-in-law Rustam was a great lover of Meher Baba, who served him wholeheartedly in the early days of his avatarhood. He was Baba's first emissary to the West in 1928, when he was sent to England, ostensibly to bring back British children for the Meher Ashram, but really to lay a spiritual cable for Baba between the East and West. Even years later, Baba fondly recalled Rustam's prowess as a cricket batsman and remarked on his sincere love and service to him. And the sidebar says, in 1962, Mehlu went so far as to request the police to investigate the mysterious disappearance of his father. The Nasik police came to Ahmednagar and interviewed Adi Sr. and Sarosh. At a family meeting at Merazad on 2 September 1962, Mehlu finally absolved Baba and others of any blame when he was shown letters from Rustam written in 1939, which convinced him Rustam left of his own choice. This is probably a good place to stop. We've been reading for an hour. Hopefully, we'll have the PDF next week. There's some cool pictures of Rustam and Meru and Falu at Falu's Navjot thread ceremony. So that would be in the paper version. It's page 21.
Oh, should I stop the recording? How do I stop?
Do you know, Eugene?
Yeah.